if you have ever asked yourself the question, how do I actually separate my worth from my body or my weight? That's what we're talking about in this episode. Not affirmations, not just reminding yourself, I am worthy over and over again. It's not going to work. We're talking about 3 steps that will actually make a difference and make you feel differently about yourself. So let's get into it. Welcome to the Live Unrestricted podcast, a show where you'll learn how to heal your relationship with food and your body so that you can focus your time and energy on more important things like your personal growth. I'm your host, Sabrina Magna, food freedom coach, and my mission is to help make your life happier and healthier without stress, overwhelm, or guilt about food. If you love the show, please do go out and share it. And if you're looking for support with your relationship with food, details about my programs are in the show notes. Thanks for spending time with me today. Now let's jump in. Welcome back to the Live Unrestricted podcast. Oh my goodness, do we have an important conversation to have today about our worth and where we derive our worth and how our worth can fluctuate depending on how we feel about our bodies. So this is just such an important conversation. But before we do, let's just talk about like some life updates because you're my friend and I want to bring you into my life. And oh my goodness, have the past few months been interesting for me. I am in a deep portal of transformation and discomfort and frustration, but in the best way possible. I was having a conversation with Luke last night about all of this because ever since January, I would say, I have been really, really intentional about looking at certain patterns in my life that I'm just done with, that no longer serve me and I don't want to carry with me anymore. And I'm sure that you can think about those certain patterns in your life. It might be people pleasing or struggling to set boundaries or anxiety around certain aspects in your life, whatever that might be for you. There comes a certain point where you're like, enough is enough. I am going to take action on this because I'm done. It's hurting me. It's not going to be something that I want to bring into my future, into the future me. And so I have been really intentional about sitting with myself and feeling very, very deeply. Like every morning before I start work, I am spending 30 to 45 minutes sitting on my couch in my living room and just going inwards and feeling into my body and asking myself like, all right, what's been triggering for me lately? Or what am I feeling? Is there any fear in my body? Is there any anxiety? Is there any resistance? Is there any anger? Like, what am I feeling right now? And you can feel it. The more you do this, what happens is you know the difference between when you are really embodied and in an energy of expansion and groundedness, and when you're not, and when there's a part of you that is hijacking your system. Maybe it's anxiety or stress or fear. And so I've been going inwards and I've been having these conversations with myself. And you might be thinking, Sabrina, you sound a little crazy. And yeah, I am. But it has been transformative. The amount of breakthroughs and revelations and insights that I've had by doing this. And I wouldn't say that I would consider myself as someone who's very avoidant, because I'm actually pretty much the opposite. I like to confront things head on. But doing this work has made me realize how much I wasn't looking at still, even after all of this personal development and healing work that I've done on myself. There is still so much that I wasn't paying attention to and looking at. And so doing this work has been deeply uncomfortable and at times really frustrating, because you are now becoming aware of these things that have been with you for years or decades. And the process of changing those things is a frustrating process. And I was telling Luke, like, I am embracing the discomfort. I'm embracing the frustration because I know that you will feel the most frustration and discomfort when you are changing the most. Because I want you to imagine that you're in a forest and maybe you're one of those lucky people who has like woods right behind their house, and you have a path that is very, very well worn, and you have walked that path every single day. It is very easy to walk that path, right? There's nothing, there's no trees on it, there's no bushes, like there's nothing there. It's very easy to walk that path. Now, let's say you decide, I want to walk a different path, and you start walking a path that hasn't been walked on before. Those first few weeks is going to be super frustrating because there's trees and there's things in the way, and it's difficult and it's frustrating. And it's because you haven't walked that path before. So I'm sharing this with you because if you are currently very intentional about healing or changing certain patterns about yourself, and you are feeling like it is so hard and you're feeling a lot of resistance to it, that's actually normal. The most frustration you'll feel is at the beginning because you haven't walked on this new path. And so I am always reframing, and in my head, I'm like, you know what? It's just frustrating because it's new. It's just frustrating because it's new. And the fact that it's new is good. If it was easy, if I wasn't feeling this resistance, it just means that I'm doing what's comfortable and what's familiar. And if I want to truly let go of certain patterns in my life, I have to get uncomfortable. And that's where I'm at. And I don't think there's any better time to be doing this deep healing work than right now, because at least for me and anyone who lives in colder climates, it's winter. There's literally nothing better to do. There is less distractions. There's less events. There's just less going on. And so I'm okay with going into this little portal of healing and being a little bit more inwards so that I can move through this. And then once the summer rolls around, I'm probably not going to be doing this work as much. So that's kind of what has been going on in my life. And one more thing before we get into today's topic, I want to address the America's Next Top Model documentary. I know that a lot of people have watched it, have released content and commentary on that documentary. I have not watched it yet, and that is the reason why I haven't had any comments to make. I've heard little bits and pieces there, and I have a feeling I will be very frustrated when I do watch it. I just haven't gone around to it yet. Luke and I are watching the Gordon Ramsay documentary right now, and we are absolutely loving it. So that is the reason why I haven't talked about it and really released any content around it. So let's get into today's topic. And I'm sure if you're listening right now, you have heard the sentence or the sentiment detaching your worth from your weight. This is a concept that you might intellectually and consciously understand and see that it's important, right? Like this is really relevant for you if you feel like your mood changes depending on the number on the scale. How you feel about yourself fluctuates along with how your body fluctuates. When you gain weight or your body changes or you have a bad body image day, you feel less worthy. You feel less valuable, less important, less whatever you want to fill in the blank with. This might be you as well if you feel like you postpone trips, you postpone taking pictures or buying new clothes or dating until you've lost weight or until you change your body or look a certain way. There's a lot of like I'll do this when I lose weight. Once I lose weight, then I will X. You might also feel like compliments about your body feel like they give you life. They feel like oxygen. There is like nothing that feels better for your ego than getting compliments about your body. And then on the flip side, getting criticism about your body, it feels like you are being stabbed in the gut. It hits you so much deeper because if you really like break it down, when your worth is tied to your body, then any compliments about your body is really, in your mind, it's compliments about how worthy you are. And as humans, we all want to feel worthy. We all want to feel valuable and good enough. And then criticism about your body will again hit at how good you are, how worthy you are. And so they feel very, very emotionally charged. And at the end of the day, there is this belief that if my body is not good enough, then I am not good enough. And again, there is so much content about this belief. And I'm sure you've heard it before and you're like, I know I need to detach my worth from my weight, but I really don't think we talk about how enough, because affirmations in this case probably won't work for you. You can look in the mirror every single day and say, I'm more than my body. My body is the least interesting thing about me. Like, you can say all these things that people have recommended, and those could slightly help. But at the end of the day, that's not what is going to change these deeply ingrained beliefs. And I also know that there might be part of you that feels like, I don't know if I can ever change this belief because this is how I've been operating my entire life. Like, this is a lifelong belief. I have always associated my worth, my self-esteem, how valuable, how good I am to my body. And then that becomes even more emotionally charged when so many of your actions in your life have been dieting and trying to achieve this sense of peace, this sense of security, because at least you think, okay, if once I hit a certain weight, then I will feel good about myself. And so this belief just gets reinforced. The more you're in diet culture, it just gets reinforced. And so I really, really understand that there could be a part of you that feels like, I don't even know if there is a way for me to think differently. And so, first of all, I want to say that I've been where you are. I know exactly what it feels to think like, this is part of who I am. This is my identity. This is how I've always thought. There is no other way for me to think. Like, there is no way that I can separate those two things. If you had told me like 10 years ago that I would be able to do that I would be able to have a bad body image day, or to gain weight, or to let my body fluctuate and not make it mean anything about me, about how worthy I am, about how loved I am, I would have laughed in your face. I would have been like, girl, there is absolutely no way. And now I can tell you that it absolutely is possible. In fact, it's very serendipitous because the past 2 weeks I was just telling Luke this last night as well. I was like, I have not been feeling good in my body at all. I don't know what's going on. I am not digesting food very well. The past 2 weeks, I feel bloated constantly. I feel like I'm 4 months pregnant. I don't really feel like eating things because I'm so bloated, but then again, I know I need to eat food, and it just doesn't feel good. Like, I overall have not been feeling good in my body. However, that has not translated at all in how I feel about myself. If you think about it as like, it's two completely different buckets. There's like how I feel in my body, which is one bucket. And then there's how I feel about myself, which is a different bucket. And those are two completely different things. I can feel uncomfortable in my body. I can feel bloated. I can feel like, oh my God, my stomach is so extended right now. And also still know that I'm a very valuable person. I am worthy. I am good enough. And so there is a way for those buckets to be separated, no matter how long you've repeated the same thing. The thing, though, is that we need to get serious about how to actually change that belief, how to actually separate your worth from your body. And it's not going to be through affirmations. It's not going to be through reading blogs about how good you are or telling yourself that you're worthy regardless of your body, because you're probably going to notice, and if you've tried that before, that it kind of feels like you're lying to yourself. It kind of feels like you're bypassing how you're actually feeling about yourself, and then you just feel more frustrated. So that's not what we're going to talk about in this episode. I'm actually going to give you 3 steps that you can repeat over and over again, but what I'm not going to promise you is that this is going to change overnight. What I can say, however, is that the more you stick to this, the more you practice these steps, over time, it could take a couple of weeks. It could really start to solidify over a couple of months. Give yourself time, give yourself patience, but I promise you that you will notice a very real difference in how you feel about your worth and in the way that you can separate those 2 buckets. Now, before I go into those 3 steps, one thing that's important to mention is that it's very likely that there is going to be a part of you that actually doesn't want to let go of this belief. I know it could be in your mind, you're like, what? No, of course I want to let go of this belief. But the thing is that there is most likely a part of you that thinks that this belief is actually helping you. As long as you attach your worth to your weight, then you're going to keep working harder. You're going to keep exercising or eating well or doing the things that you need to do in order to be quote unquote successful when it comes to controlling your weight and your body, right? If that belief wasn't serving a function for you, then it would be very, very easy to let it go. And so there might be this conflicting tug of war within you where part of you is like, of course I want to let it go. Of course I want to feel worthy. Of course I want to be able to stop letting my body dictate how I feel about myself and making my life small. But there could be another reason, another part of you that's like, but this is actually helping us stay in control. This is helping us, quote unquote, stay in check. And so we have to address this first, because in order to release beliefs and release protection mechanisms, we have to feel safe doing it. And we have to understand and let our nervous system know that this is actually not helping us, and becoming really aware of the ways that it's not helping us. So the reason why it is so important to separate your worth from the way that your body looks or from your weight is that it's actually not helping you. It is leading to more anxiety, more hypervigilance, more stress, more fear, more panic around food, around exercise, around the way that you speak to yourself, and it negatively impacts your relationship with food. It can actually lead to more inconsistency, to worse choices, to more binge eating. So let me explain to you why. Well, first of all, when your worth is constantly tied to how you look, then your entire life becomes a chase for finally feeling worthy, finally feeling valuable, and finally feeling good enough. And that chase is never ending. I have spoken to so many women, so many of my clients inside of Food Freedom Academy, and also from my own personal experience, where you are chasing a certain number on the scale, or you are chasing a certain weight or whatever it is. And you get there, and your entire belief the whole time is once I hit that, then I will feel worthy, then I will feel safe, then I will feel secure. And then when you hit that, well, you don't feel those things because you never cultivated this inner sense of worth, this inner sense of peace. But there could be the other side of it, which is maybe you do feel the worthiness, but now the stakes are so much higher. You have so much more to lose because it's not just about maintaining that weight. It is about maintaining your sense of worthiness. And your hypervigilance, your stress just goes way up because it's like, well, now that I finally feel good about myself, I cannot lose it. And weirdly enough, the anxiety actually increases. So you monitor more. You are calculating, you are negotiating with yourself, you are micromanaging everything, and you are living in this low grade level of anxiety constantly. And how that gets reflected, whether you are at the weight where you feel good about yourself or you're not, is that you make decisions from a place of survival, not from a place of self-trust. So I'm going to repeat that again. When your worth is attached to your body or your weight, the decisions that you make around food, around healthy habits, around exercise, around self-care, they come from a place of survival, not from a place of self-trust, not from a genuine desire to take care of yourself because you know that you are worthy of taking care of yourself no matter what. So when your worth is on the line, food is no longer just food anymore. It is so much more emotionally charged. And so you will restrict in order to feel in control. And then we know what restriction leads to. It's only a matter of time before you swing in the other direction. You will over-exercise as a way to compensate. You might binge when the pressure gets too high and you just want to let it all go and stop caring for a second. Well, that can lead to a binge. You might avoid social situations or want to hide on those days where you don't feel good about yourself. And so what I encourage you to reflect on right now is to get super honest with yourself and say, okay, how is associating my worth to my body negatively impacting my relationship with food, with exercise, with myself, and it could also be with the people around me. Man, I can tell you that when I wasn't feeling good about myself because of the way that I looked, because that's the thing, right? Is your self-worth is so volatile. It is so fragile because no matter what, as a human, you will fluctuate. Like even me as a long-term intuitive eater, your body naturally fluctuates a few pounds here and there. That's just normal. And so when your self-worth is attached to that, then you are fluctuating in how you feel about yourself, and how you feel about yourself is reflected in your mood. And so I know that when I wasn't feeling good about myself, I wasn't showing up as the best version of me. I wasn't fun to be around. I wasn't able to have my heart open and really come from a place of love because I just wanted to hide. And all of this just results in your life being so much smaller than you deserve it to be. The things that you don't allow yourself to enjoy, the things that you don't allow yourself to do all together. And then at the end of your life, and I know that I talk about this a lot, but it is the perspective that is going to help you put everything into a lens that matters, at the end of your life, you're going to look back and be like, oh my goodness, I can't believe the amount of things that I didn't allow myself to do or didn't allow myself to enjoy, or was like half present there and feeling like crap about myself because of how much importance I placed on the way that my body looks. Now, all of this is important to mention that we live in a brutal society. We live in a brutal world that treats women's bodies disgustingly. And it is obviously easier for me to say this in a straight-sized body where I am not marginalized, I am not criticized every single day. It is so much easier for me to say this, and I can absolutely acknowledge that. But when we strip all of that down, it comes down to the question, is this belief serving you? And I would say for 99.9% of people, it's not, because it's making you make decisions from a place of fear. And the interesting thing is that when you see yourself as worthy, no matter what, when you can love yourself unconditionally, you actually make better choices for yourself. I use this example where I love Luke so much. I love him unconditionally. And because of that, it is so easy for me to genuinely want to do things that are going to make him happy and make him smile and make him feel loved. It is not something that I feel like I have to force myself to do. And I want you to imagine if you're a mom right now and you think of your kids and the ability to do something that's going to brighten up their day, or it might be your partner, or it might be your parents. You don't have to force yourself to do it. It doesn't feel like a should or a have to, or, like this pressure. And then I want you to think about someone in your life who you have a very difficult relationship with, someone that you don't necessarily like being around. You don't really like them as a person. And then imagine having to take care of them. That would feel like a chore. It would not be fun. It would not feel intuitive. It would not feel natural for you because you don't really want to. You don't like that person. So think about how this applies to yourself. If you don't genuinely like yourself or think that you are worthy or good or valuable, then why the heck would you want to take care of yourself? Why the heck would you want to wake up early and have a nice morning routine that might not be super fun in the moment, but once you're done, you're going to be so happy that you did because you feel so much better? Why would you want to do things for yourself that are going to genuinely just make you feel good? You won't. And that's why it feels like a chore. That's why it feels so hard. And so much of the work that we do inside of Food Freedom Academy is actually around healing your relationship with yourself. Because when you heal your relationship with yourself, then those actions of self-love and self-care and nourishment and moving your body, they become so much easier. That is a byproduct of wanting to make yourself feel good. So now the question is, how do you actually separate your worth from your weight? Step 1 is to recognize that there's a part of you that equated your worth with your body because it felt like it needed to. It was a survival strategy. That is really the first place that we need to start, because if we don't understand where it came from and that it served a function, instead of getting mad at it and being like, oh my God, this is so frustrating, what is wrong with me, which is really not going to help you, my friend, we have to show ourselves compassion. For example, for a really long time, and I'm not going to say that it's completely gone, but I'm actively working on it, I equated my worth to my work and to achievement and to success. Like that was a really, really big part of me. And like I said, it is so deep rooted. It comes from my childhood and is something that I'm actively working on every single day. And when I look at that, the first place I need to start is recognizing that I grew up in a family where if you achieved, if you did well in school, if you were successful, then you got attention and you got praise and you got recognition. I was the youngest of 5 kids. I asked my mom 2 weeks ago, like, what was I like as a kid? And she said, you always needed to make your place and show yourself that you were there and that you were part of things. Because as the youngest of 5 in a family of smart people, all of my siblings did super well in school. All of my siblings, except for my sister, very, very athletic, right? Like overachievers. I needed to make my place. And the way for me to make my place is to also achieve. And that was a survival strategy is, okay, if I see my worth as being in my achievement, then I will fit in and I will feel loved and I will work really hard. So I can show myself compassion for having developed that belief. And so for you, it's recognizing where that came from. Maybe it was your mom who was constantly dieting or criticizing her body. And so you thought, well, if I attach my worth to the way that my body looks, then I will try to lose weight and I will fit in and I will feel loved by my parents. It could also just be society, or you were bullied about your weight when you were younger. There can be so many reasons why you develop this belief, but the first step is to show yourself so much compassion and acknowledge that this strategy worked at some point in your life. It is just not working for you anymore. And so now it is time to let it go. Step 2 is to begin giving your nervous system alternative sources of worth. Oh my goodness, this is such a big one. When you have a certain belief, what happens is that your brain will start filtering all of these experiences in your life in order to only show you the things that validate your belief. So if you, for example, think that everyone is out to get you, then you will only see and acknowledge situations where you felt like someone was out to get you or someone was trying to take advantage of you. But you will also have all of these other experiences in your life where people are super kind to you and super generous. But those experiences, they don't align with your belief that people are out to get you. And so they're going to go over your head. You're actually not going to notice them. You're not going to pay attention to them. They're not going to be important for your brain. So the same thing happens when you have a belief that your worth is attached to your body. You will filter out the experiences in your life to confirm this over and over again. So you might scroll on social media and only notice those things, those accounts, those posts that confirm, oh my God, that girl has such a better body than me. She has more likes. She has more attention. People love her. You'll compare yourself to other people's bodies. You'll really notice when people are making comments about either your body or other people's bodies. Like that will be top of mind for you. But you will not notice those experiences where you are worthy, you are valuable, completely disconnected from your body. So the second thing that you have to do is you actually have to give your brain the directive to look for those moments. Maybe it's your daughter giving you a hug and just saying, I love you so much, mommy. You are so nice. You are so kind. You are so generous. Or doesn't even need to say anything, just I love you so much. Does your daughter love you because you look a certain way? Or does your daughter just love you because you're a valuable person? So I actually challenge you for the next couple of weeks to start looking for all of those moments where you're like, oh my God, yeah, I am worthy. I am valuable. I am good enough. And it has nothing to do with my body. That's how you start giving yourself new evidence and start rewiring your brain. So for me, my new evidence that I need to give my brain is times where I feel worthy and I feel valuable and I feel good enough, irrespective from me achieving or performing or succeeding. So even just last night, Luke and I had date night and we were just spending time together, and he's so kind. He's always complimenting me and just saying how he feels. And I had to just sit there and kind of take that like mental picture and be like, he loves me not because I am successful, not because of how much money I make or how much I achieve or how smart I am. He just loves me for me. And same thing when I'm around friends. It's like my friends are not friends with me because I'm achieving. They don't give an F about that. But those moments have been in my life for years. I've just never recognized them. And so the second step for you is to recognize those moments. And then step 3 is to actually heal that part of you that feels like if your body were to change or if your body were to stay the same, you would be nothing. You have to heal that part directly. That part doesn't need to hear or be told you are worthy. That doesn't help. And that's why affirmations, I am worthy, I am worthy, I am worthy, they don't get through because there is still a protection mechanism. There is still a protective layer. And so that part of you needs to experience that you are there for it. You are supporting it. You are loving it no matter what. That part needs to hear, I am here no matter what. I am here even if our body changes. And so what you can actually do is you can ask it, that part of you that is so terrified, if my body changed tomorrow, what would that mean about us? If my body changed tomorrow, what would that mean about us? And let it answer and see what comes up. It might be, I'm a failure. I've let myself go. Everyone hates me. I'm lazy. I'm undisciplined. Notice what comes up and then respond from a grounded energy. If my body changed tomorrow, I would still be here. You would not be alone. We would still have our relationships. We would still have our intelligence, our grit, our perseverance, our loving kindness, our generosity. Like, I want you to remind yourself that even if your body changed tomorrow, all of these aspects of you would still be there. And what you're trying to do here is you are removing the fear of annihilation completely from the equation. So that's the third step, is to heal that part directly. Now, I wish I could go so much deeper into this, but with a podcast episode, there's only so much I can do. But those are 3 steps that are going to be incredibly powerful for you. And remind yourself that all of this you are doing because the more, it's so counterintuitive. It is so counterintuitive. But the more you can accept your body changing from a grounded energy, not from a place of fear, the more likely you are to genuinely take care of your body. And this is one of those concepts where it's, if you know, you know. Like, you will only fully understand it until you're living it, and then it will make so much sense for you. And the only way to start living it is to put this into practice. So I hope that this was valuable for you. Absolutely send this to someone in your life who needs to hear this. Because if it's not attaching our worth to our body, then it's going to be something else. Our financial situation, our work, our relationship status, our identity as a mom or a wife. Like, we always find things to latch our worth onto. And the more you can create this internal grounded sense of worthiness, no matter what, your life will just be better. You will have more peace, you will have more ease and more fulfillment. So send this to someone in your life you know needs to hear this. I love you. I love you so much. I am so proud of you for listening to something that is going to make your life better. I am right there on this journey with you, and I'll see you on the next episode. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you found it valuable, I would love if you would share it with someone you know that could benefit. If you're loving the show, don't forget to subscribe over on Apple Podcasts so you don't miss a single episode. I really love hearing feedback from you, so please leave a rating and review over on Apple to help us get in the ears of more people who need it the most. Finally, come hang out with me on Instagram at Sabrina Magna Health for more educational content and get up close and personal with me. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you on the next episode.